Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. Here I am. I have a new setup in the office, so I'm trying to acclimate myself to where I'm looking. Okay. There we go. Hi, everybody. How are you guys? How are you doing? How's everybody doing? We're just coming this weekend to that new moon that's going to be happening in Leo. That's very exciting. I'm going to say some words here in the chat and just hello, everybody. I'm back from vacation. I'm feeling crisp and invigorated and ready for life, and more than excited to have the Astrology Soulmate Family merchandise out. The Stormy Grace store is open. So hopefully you're able to access that. You can click under this video or this live stream as it's done into the description box and it should pop right up. There's also, if you check out the community tab, the link to check out the merchandise, and it is really an exciting time for that. And man, I think the world and everything that's been going on has been incredibly intense for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I don't know about you guys, but I definitely feel like we've crossed over. We've come into a different portal of energy. You know, I don't know if that's your experience over there, but as we got into August, I definitely was feeling like the energy shifted a little bit. Plus, you know, it's always easier to feel really good when you've come back from vacation, but there was something that is just different. There is something that is just different. And I feel like there is a lot that is still, we're in a period, you guys, of recovery. And we're in a period of, and recovery doesn't always mean that it's easy, but I do feel like we're also in a period of culmination. A lot of things I feel like are in a culminating space right now. If they can't energetically stand anymore, whether it be old relationships, whether it be, you know, in Colorado, we've got fires going on as well. There's still a lot of fire happening in Greece. You know, there is a lot going on there, and the things that are not energetically sound anymore are definitely finding their ending. They're finding a culmination. And, you know, this is where, like, oh, I just hate to think about people being harmed in our lives, and fires and floods and relationships and things with money and things coming to their end. But I also energetically realize that there is something very sound about what is going on right now, where I really feel like there's an energetic space of bringing a culmination, bringing a space where it is like from ashes to ashes, we're coming back to a starting point. And we won't really, I think, feel that starting point kick in until we get to October. Right now, I think it is about culmination. I think it's about transition. I think it's still about taking down all sorts of things, and they have these huge energetic effects on us emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, for absolutely certain. So whether we're talking about things happening in our societal worlds, in our communities, or things happening personally, you know, how are you guys doing? What are you seeing for yourself that you are in fact bringing to some kind of culmination, or bringing to some kind of ending in your life and in your world? I want to hear from you. I want to know how you're doing out there. We are a community of people from around the world, from around the globe. And I think that that is absolutely beautiful. So, you know, as we are sending love and compassion to our friends in Greece, our friends in Greece are also sending love, and they're sending out the signals, you know, to us here, our friends in Spain, our friends in Ecuador. Like, there's a lot of love in this community. And I don't know if you guys really realize how big we are as a community on this particular channel. And so I'm very, very grateful and honored to be able to connect with you guys. So let's get in here and talk about this full moon that is coming up August 22nd. And please tell me if you have not already watched the video for the new moon coming up this Sunday in Leo. Come on, hop over there, hop into the playlist. It's in the monthly playlist, so you can see what's going on with that moon. We walk through it, walk through the aspects, all of that good stuff, and give you a space to reframe what's going on. Because the position that I always take with the sky is that even when it is challenging, there are the aspects of use. There's solution in every aspect that we are afforded. Whether, we're humans, we have the human condition, so we may feel some kind of way about it. But I'm always looking for what's the solution within what we've got going on. So make sure you check out that new moon energy. And the other thing I want to point out to you is a perspective from one of our guests that came from the Eat and Greets, Sonal, and she talked about Vedic perspective of the moons. And at the new moon in Vedic time, this is a time that is not great. They're not excited about the new moon. They say lay low, let it pass. It's dark, so the things that happen can be associated with the dark. And so if this is a perspective that you have found your energy connecting to as the new moons roll around, I want you to give yourself grace and space to just have that exploration, right? Have that. There is a whole perspective. There is a whole culture and religion built around the Vedic practices. And so I don't want you to come to my channel and listen and say, you know what, Stormy, the new moon is really hard for me, so none of this works. Listen to what I'm saying and then align it with how your energy shows up at each of these moons. Now, the full moon, we get all of this light in the sky, and it's absolutely phenomenal because we can see things for what they are. And this is a great energy. This is a great time for us to be evaluating some of this culmination, some of this transition, and especially at this particular full moon in Aquarius, because it's our once in a blue moon. And so what that looks like is we already had a full moon in July, right? We got to have that experience already, and it was at 1 degree of Aquarius. So at the beginning of the sign, we were seeing some things over there. Now this moon is going to be again in the same sign. That's the blue moon part, because it doesn't happen every month, right? We don't have moons in the same sign all the time. So it's like, pop, once in a blue moon, we get this. And it is an ultimately concentrated time to pay attention to what was presented to us already in our Aquarian energies, and now to bring that to some kind of culmination with the use of new information. At the new moon, we've likely, come Sunday in this next 3 weeks, you're likely going to be presented with some new information, some new facts, some new electrical something that stimulates the area and the questions around Aquarian things that you've had going, or the Aquarian house for you in your chart. And then we get to this full moon, and then you'll have 4 weeks from there to bring some culmination and make different decisions. And some of the decisions that I think are going to be really critical at this time do have to do with the wisdom of how we conduct ourselves in relationships, the wisdom of our long-range plans and goals and designs for ourselves and our communities moving forward. So this is kind of a big one, and it's been a big time, especially here in the United States, when we talk about all sorts of political things, and people have needed to figure out what their particular stance is, and they've needed to weigh out, what is my particular stance based on my excuse me, my current state of self, my current state of beliefs, but also based on patterns from our past history in the United States and on the global stage. And these are big things. So I'm not willing to debate any one side or the other, but there are historic things that we need to pay attention to as well, and not be so focused here, and use the whole stage to make decisions on things that are happening in our communities and our personal lives, and what we actually and authentically believe for ourselves, Leo energies, at this particular time. So lots going on out there in the world. So I would love to walk through this moon and let's see what's going on. Okay. So one more thing before we jump into this moon, I'm just giving a couple other people a chance to come in as well if they need to. Right now in the YouTube Academy, so if you are new here and you didn't even know that there was an academy going on, there's a whole playlist of beginning astrology videos, and it's free. It's a teaching school. Our teachers have built off of what the other ones are teaching. So we're giving you basic astrology right here on the stage for free. Come click into the playlist. They're in chronological order, and you can go watch those videos and start to build your astrology practice, build your astrology knowledge. And if you've been studying for 100 years, Listen to these teachers. There is beautiful perspective. I know as a practitioner, continuing education, continuing exposure to new information is what continues to grow me and give me other perspectives as well. So make sure you check that out. And right now we are on summer break from the Academy. So you've got the next couple weeks to get caught up on videos that you maybe wanted to watch. If you have questions, put them below the video. And still on Wednesdays and Saturdays, myself and the teaching assistants are going in to answer those questions. So get caught up. And as we come back, the one class that you will have in August will be August 30th. And it'll be Tracy Rogers coming back to teach an actual lesson on solar returns. So if you're ready for that in your practice, it'll be right in there. And then we've got some other beautiful elective classes to take us through September. And then we'll jump into transits. And by then, we'll also be preparing to kickstart again and crowdfund next year's classes so that we can hit this intermediate level. So I'm very, very excited. Get tapped into that, okay? All right. Yes, please click the thumbs up from this video. If you are here and you are watching, please just give it a quick like. It helps the channel. It helps the video. It helps, okay? But let's talk about this moon now. August 22nd. At 29 degrees of Aquarius, we are going to experience a full moon. At the full moon, the actual aspect that is happening, the astrological aspect in the sky is that the sun and the moon are in opposition to each other. So they're on opposing sides. So just in this aspect alone, what we know and what we understand is that a full moon highlights our opposition, our needs versus our wants, right? My needs versus my wants. My insides versus my outsides. It is both of the luminaries, so the sun and the moon, on opposing sides. Now, it is a full moon. It's a lunar event, so it's emotional. There are ties to feminine energy. There's ties to family. There's ties to the things that we are intimately connected with on the table for us to be considering. It also, because it's such an intense emotional energy, it's digging below the level of consciousness. We move to subconscious, we move to unconscious. And as these things get stimulated, but all of the lights are on, there's so much light in the sky that you can see it, it can have an emotional effect on us because I know something's going on. I know there's something that needs to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted, right? There is a shift that I know from an inside emotional level that has to be addressed. So that's the actual astrology of this particular position. And as we come into it this month, we're going to experience that. But what is it about? It's about, what did you see at that full moon in July? What were you looking at? What came up on your table as the full moon was happening in July, right? What kind of oppositions between Leo, I want to express myself, I want to do it my way, the me, and your community, my community, the people around me, my long range plans and goals and designs, right? So what was happening? What was presenting itself for you? Because that is exactly what we're going back into to address at this particular moon. Now, this moon, as you can see on the screen, also is in conjunction with Jupiter. Love this, because even though Jupiter is retrograde, and we'll talk about Jupiter retrograde in just a second, Jupiter is still a benefic planet. It's our biggest one. So even retrograde, he's still so joyous. He's still so giving. It's still expansive energy, which can be, challenging or great, just depending on how you interpret that. But at this particular moon, Jupiter is retrograde, which calls back to our attention the wisdom of the past, right? The wisdom of the past. So you've seen it. You've been participating in something that Jupiter has been presenting to your table as it's been in the energy of Aquarius. Now, what I think is even more prominent to understand in this Jupiter retrograde conjunct the sun, or conjunct the moon, excuse me, is that the wisdom of the past, now you have access to it. In this place that is the sub, that is the unconscious, is this place where you are tapping your own wisdom. You are tapping the wisdom of your community. You are tapping the wisdom of the masses. You are tapping a creative genius that you have not had access to yet. So as this moon and Jupiter are traveling together, it is a stamp. It is a good omen, as they talk about in The Alchemist. It is a good omen for success, for luck, for being able to be emotionally optimistic for where things are going. It is a phenomenal opportunity for you because there are opportunities that are available. And maybe it's just this opportunity from something that was presented to you in July. And now you're back on the table and you're like, I have more information. I have more clarity. I can decide what to do going forward. I can make a decision based out of this energy. But whatever it is, there is a happiness. I think there is, even if it's not a happiness, it is a leveling of understanding. It is a wisdom beyond the horizon that we think rationally about a lot of things. Now, this is a lunar event. And so something that I keep feeling called to talk about is this connection to women. Women, where are the wise women in your tribe? Where are the wise, fixed energy, been here forever, holding down the wisdom and the information women in our lives, in our communities that have something to share with us? It's almost like, you know, when I close my eyes and I see it, you guys, it's like this gathering of the crones, the gathering of the crones of our community across the globe, and a calling out to share that wisdom, a calling out to access that wisdom, I think is absolutely pronounced and profound at this particular moon. Now, Jupiter has only recently come back into Aquarius in its retrograde path, right? So it's peaked over the horizon a little bit here with the energy of Pisces to say, okay, this is where we're going. This is some stuff that's coming. So whether it be in your personal life or it be in our communities, Jupiter peeked over that horizon into Pisces and said, okay, well, this is where we're going. But also let's step back. Hold on, I got to step back over here so that we can finish cleaning up and applying this wisdom over here. So where has from December, you guys, all the way until May, where did you, Jupiter in Aquarius, where did you take on a lot of things at a group level? Where did you let something get really big, really expansive? And now as Jupiter has looked over that horizon into Pisces, it was like, we can't do all this. We can't stay here. There's no wisdom in this. This is too much. Bring it down. Let's recommit. Let's recommit to where we can actually apply that wisdom. And this is where that croning energy, I think, comes from. The wisdom of the people in our communities from the past. Ask them, talk to them. What information came to your table in July with this last moon, and now you've got more information, or you've got an ability to access people or resources in your community that can give you information to bring things down to size. When it's too big, we don't have access to the greatest amount of wisdom. We can just get stuck, kind of, right? So now you've got this access as Jupiter is conjoining with this particular moon. Now to the complete other side, let's just be honest. Jupiter and the moon get together. And yes, you can be abundantly grateful for the blessings you have. You can feel really good on the inside, or it can amplify the crazy, right? It can amplify the chaos in our world all over the global stage. I do believe that we will see the amplification of people calling for help. I need you to help me. I need you to help me. And some of it will be a genuine call for help. I need wisdom. I need resources. I don't know how to do this. It's a genuine call for it. And some of it will be very delusional. It will be, I don't want to help myself, but I want you to help me. We will, I think, absolutely see that as we are traveling forward, because Jupiter is just abundant in making things really, really big. Now, I do want to point out as well that just hours after we have this beautiful 29-degree full moon, the sun is going to drop down into the energy of Virgo. So now we're moving out of this I gotta Leo energy, me, and we drop into this Virgo energy, which is much more discerning. Now, the sun is motivated to discern what is going on. It is motivated for service. It is motivated for health and wellness, to make things the very best they can be based on information we've been acquiring from July, that July moon, all the way through this one. So in your own personal chart, look at where this 29 degrees of this full moon is definitely playing out. But I also want you to look at that 0 degrees of Virgo and see what's happening for you. Because as the sun shifts to that Virgo house, this is where you're going to have a motivation and a spotlight to be seen, to be doing things in some way, shape, or form. Now, I have a 3-degree Virgo rising. So as this sun is dropping down, I can assure you, you will see me pop out. You will see my ascendant in some way show up on the stage based on new information. So where is that happening? What does that look like for you? Now on the screen, you'll see as well that I'm showing you, if you've, at this particular moon, if you've got positions of fixed energies between 26 and 30 degrees, or between 0 to 5 degrees of the mutable energies, I want you to pay attention to those planets or those positions, those angles that are happening for you, because that will be heavily, heavily stimulated with this. Pare down, we've got new information, new wisdom on the table, but we have to go back, and you can't be involved in all of this. We got to pare down a little bit, right? Okay, so now, while Jupiter is having this delicious positive aspect and this optimism, the sun is still in Leo. So I don't want you to get overly optimistic about some things that are going on. Try to ground the best that you can. It's a fixed energy. Try to ground, right? Fixed energies are good at holding it, putting it in place. But what fixed energies are also good at is, while they're holding, is pivot. And if you've been watching the weekly videos, I've been talking a lot about how Uranus stimulating Taurus has made it so that we need to pivot. So ground those feet into where you need to be, right? Ground that tailbone into the earth so that you are planted into the gems, the wisdom, and the jewels that are down there, and pivot. Look around. This is the movement as we're coming to this particular full moon, okay? All right, now we have also got some other aspects that are gorgeous and at play. One of them that I'm totally excited about is the fact that Venus is in trine to Saturn, who is also retrograde in the energy of Aquarius. Now, when Venus and Saturn trine each other, first of all, this is an ease of energy, right? It's got access to some ease of expression. Venus is also trine up there to that north node, Saturn as well. So we see a grand air trine on our table. This is thinking. There is some thinking that is available to us, some ideas, some information that becomes available to us, and it is really delicious. But Saturn and Venus trining each other, this is commitment. Commitment. I love that word. I'm a Taurus. I am a Capricorn South Node. I love the word commitment. So here, one of the things I think is happening is we're finding a level of commitment to being ourselves, taking ourselves into the community. We're finding a level of commitment to the ideas that we have, that we feel like will shape our long-range plans, goals, designs, and future. And more than anything, it is Libra energy. I feel like, you guys, we're finding new commitments to the relationships in our lives. And these are the relationships that are so mentally stimulating and connecting to us. It's like this tribe of people with us that share these common ideas based off of new information, based off of the pivots that we have made. Right? So this is an exciting trine, I think. Now, Saturn, of course, being retrograde here in Aquarius, is this idea that as Saturn came into Aquarius, wherever this is happening, in whatever house this is happening for you, as Saturn came into Aquarius, the first thing it does is show us the things that are not working, right? It's like, no, this needs to be leveled up. We're going to level this up. We're going to take this to the next place of spiritual maturity. It's not always comfortable. There can be doubt. for us to go to this next level, if I'm not prepared to work with Saturn and I'm trying to work against it, it can feel like life is kicking me in my teeth, right? It can absolutely feel like that. But if we're also moving towards the evolution of working with Saturn, it can feel like rewards. But Saturn does show us on its ingress what's not working. So in the level of Aquarian energy, in our groupings, something in each of our long range plans and goals and designs and aspirations for our life, there was a hole for each of us somewhere in our commitment to friendships, to groups, to ideas. There was a hole somewhere, and we needed to be able to step into it. So now, as Saturn is retrograding, it's this idea of going back over again. You see, we have a really nice retrograde theme of going back to what we've been looking at, but we're going back over these ideas at that level of grouping with new information. This is trining that north node. It is trining the north node that is almost out of Gemini. We have new ideas. We have new ways to communicate. We have new ways of understanding the way that our brains work, the way that we receive and we disseminate information. And this has changed how we can show up in our commitment to our relationships. I think it's absolutely profound in this particular arrangement. Now, the other thing about this is that Saturn is also, it is loose. I will give it to it. It's loose. It is loosely square to Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus in Taurus is just recently retrograde as well. But this is the space where I feel like we've been shaken and not stirred. We've been heavily stimulated in an external way by Uranus being in Taurus. And it has shaken the external world around us so much that it is like, hold on, I got to figure out how to respond. How do I respond in an internal way to the external things that are happening around me, right? It's a very Uranian energy. I even like feel electric talking about it, right? And so we have been put in a position all over the world, but certainly personally, from our food to our finances, to our self-esteem, to our beliefs, to our relationships, we've been stimulated in a way where externally, and we have had to figure out how to internally adapt. Now, as Uranus has taken its retrograde, I think some of the huge amount of unexpected external chaos comes to a little bit of a slow. And we get to really go focus back on the inside and say, okay, how am I doing? Am I making some progress? Have I evolved? Have I shifted? Have I allowed the brilliance of innovation for me from the inside out to take place so that I can respond from an internal position of groundedness, of solid, of earth, of decadence to what is happening in the external world around me, right? So this is also the place where I do feel like if you've been trying to make all kinds of changes in your life, or you felt it, especially if you were born during a new moon phase, you have maybe been feeling a change called to you for over a year. And you're like, okay, I'm trying to respond. I'm trying to move this thing forward. I'm trying to make these changes, and you can't quite get there. This is your helper. This is your helper. Saturn square Uranus, right? That square does demand attention. That square does demand an action. A square wants a response. It's like, do something. Do something. And what we want to do, of course, is take the most evolved action, of course, that we can. And now we've got this lunar event where we are heavily stimulated. We've been under this Uranus-Saturn square, so this is not new information, but it is a space and a position where Saturn and Uranus are still like, don't work against me. Don't resist the change. Go with it. Unstick. Fixed sign yourself. You've been traveling fixed signs. They travel in a direction. Whatever they're doing, they do it. And they just keep doing it. And they just keep doing it. To get a fixed energy, to change direction is like moving the earth, right? It's a really big deal. But like I said, we've been talking about this motion of ground in like a fixed energy and pivot, just pivot, just look around. Just look around. There are different answers and information available, and that with convincing reason, a fixed sign will change its direction. And you can change the direction to open, to innovate, to commit to your own innovation, to commit to your community innovation, to commit to holding your personal voice in the midst of everything that's being said externally. What do you believe? What do you believe? What has your factual research and information shown you about your life? What's happening out there, your life, and what you want going forward? What makes you a success going forward? So this is a commitment to the opening of innovation. Now, that Uranian energy, thank goodness, gets some help. Oh, thank goodness it gets some help. Okay, so we have got Mars and Mercury together at this particular, they're in conjunction at this particular lunar event as well. So now as Mars and Mercury are together, it's like action and thinking are together, right? They're in the same bucket. You can kind of know that what you're thinking and what you're trying to do are actually on the same page, which is an absolutely beautiful energy. And it also makes getting things done easier, because my thinking and my action are in alignment. Now they are trine to Uranus and Taurus. So there is an ease, there is an opening of opportunity in this conversation to unstick, to pivot, to allow that innovation and that new information to come in. Now they are both in the energy of Virgo. And I want to just big up Virgo right here, because yes, Virgo it's ruled by Mercury. So there is a quick-mindedness that is available here, right? There is a meticulousness that is available here. But Virgo, my goodness, our Virgo energies know about discernment. Discernment. We're going to look at a whole bunch of information. We're going to look at a whole bunch of emotions. We're going to look at things that have been surfacing from our past that we thought we were done with, right? We thought we were done with that. How are you back, right? We're going to look at these things on our table, and Virgo's going to use those little Virgo hands and discern and say, this matters, this doesn't matter, this needs your attention, no, this is a hot mess, this, we're going to do this. And Virgo will help both Mars and Mercury decide what is the priority order of action that needs to be taken. Oh, can you feel the relief that comes from that? Can you feel the relief of having just the conjunction of your mind and your action together? I mean, and in Virgo, with all that discernment, I think of Virgo as our energy that loves those 1,000-piece puzzles, right? Because it all looks like a mess when you put it out on the table, and Virgo's like, nope, actually it's not. Look, this is the ear, over here's the barn, you know, and they just start figuring it out. So we get help. And then the sun, just after all of this light shines over here, moves into Virgo as well. So getting this puzzle put together is going to have some clarity to it. Mars in Virgo will take a healthy means, if we evolve, if we allow the innovation to happen, it will take a healthy action to expel energy from its system in a way that actually makes us better, in a way that allows what's been piling up in my mind and making me exhausted, all of this thinking, it allows it to come out in a really positive, discerned, useful, brilliant, innovative kind of way. So I'm just, obviously, Stormy Grace is really excited about this particular configuration and the ease that it will allow at this particular full moon to allow those changes to happen. So this has been a lot. I'm literally sweating as we're doing this talk. I hope you guys are great out there. I hope that this makes sense. And I hope that this once in a blue moon idea is powerful for you. I hope that the cycles that we're living in are powerful for you, because what they mean is that they mean something, right? We have energies that, I mean, to have energy present itself to you in July and then be like, hold on, hold on, hold on. I think you need a little bit more time with that. Let me drop you some information. Let me drop you some other configurations on how you can look at that. And then let's review it again in the most crystal clear way we can just a month later. That is phenomenally impactful, I think. So now, okay, here's a question that I do get, and I've seen this before, and it might even be present at this particular time. Venus in Virgo is considered to be in fall, okay? But even planets that are in fall, it's not like they just fall out, right? Like Venus doesn't stop being Venus because it's in Virgo, but we've got all this Virgo stimulation that may be happening. So if you have Virgo placements, or you have a particular position or a Venus that gets caught up in this action, then you can know pretty clearly that something in a primary relationship for you, or something around the health of your money or the health of that relationship, needs your attention. And it could also be, depending on whatever else is involved as well. Virgo is also how I express my affection, right? Or how I attract things to me, right? It's very personal. So is there something that needs healthening up? I don't even think that's a phrase. Is there something about the way that you are attracting things to you that needs health, that needs some vitality of discernment around it? Is there a way that you are or are not expressing what you need in love and in finance in your life that needs a bit of an adjustment? And it doesn't mean you're doing everything wrong. You could be the most spiritual flower out there, done all your trauma work, been through 6 dark nights of the soul. We're humans. We're on a journey. These moons come around every month to open our spiritual eyes to what is on our table. So if you've got Venus in Virgo, it's not going to fall out. It doesn't stop being Venus. It just, the planet has to do things like the sign demands, right? The sign is in charge. So Venus has got to get discerning. Venus has got to get their head into understanding, and the heart into understanding the healthiest way to love, the healthiest way to accept people as they are, and stop telling people you love them, Venus and Virgo, if you don't accept them for who and what they are, because that's not love, right? Like, where is this a thing in your life if this is a position that you have where it's you're saying one thing, but that there's a criticalness behind it? And also, Venus and Virgo, where are you absolutely healthy in what you're demanding in your relationships? You are demanding that, hey, I'm showing up financially healthy. Are you showing up financially healthy, or are you taking steps to be there? I'm showing up taking care of my daily routine. I'm showing up attracting good food, good vibes, good people in my life, but I'm interacting with other people or with a community that is not doing the same thing. You maybe have to look at that, right? So those are some things to consider if you, whatever your Virgo placements are, especially if you have planets that are stimulated there. Now, if you have an empty house, right? Like you've got Virgo, because everybody has all 12 signs in their chart. So, and I'll put a video below this in case you don't know how to identify where the planets are or where the houses are for you, but everybody has all 12 signs. So if you've got a Virgo house that is empty, no planets there, no points, right? You're still going to be heavily stimulated, and the lights may feel like they are even more powerfully on for you, because typically this house is all open, right? It's just living its best life, vibrating with Virgo energy. And you're like, yeah, okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't struggle with fill in the blank thing. But then you get a set of transiting planets going through there, and it's like, boom, boom, boom. I mean, it just lights that area up, and you'll be like, why am I so busy? Why is there so much going on in this area of my life? So it may feel like, the lights are on a little bit brighter for you, and that is okay. But pay attention to the themes that we have been talking about. Pay attention to how this is starting to show up in your life. And even if you can't read charts, you don't know where anything is at, go to astro.com, pull a free chart, look for where Virgo's at, because we're in a bit of Virgo season. So this is what is happening, or we're coming into Virgo season. Let me say that. And so this is where things are going to be happening at that particular time. So I just want to say, oh, sorry. No, it's coming in. I got to say it. When we hit Virgo season, which is just going to be on the 23rd, the sun will shift into Virgo. And I told you at this moon, as that sun makes that shift, we have this sense of, I want to care for others. I want to take care of others, service to other people, a generosity. Virgo has got to help you. Listen, tap in, be mindful. Not everybody needs your help. Not everybody needs your help. And you may need help. If you need help, ask for help. But the good nature of Virgo, wanting people, places, and things to be the very best that they can be, this is a driving energy for Virgo, right? They are highly motivated by this, but it can also put you in a position where you're helping where help is not really needed. Make sure that if there is helping happening, there is also some footwork being done by the people, places, and things on the other side that are receiving the help. And if it's you and someone's helping you, make sure you're also involved in your own transformation. That's going to be really, really important. That's how you have the best of this particular Virgo energy. So it's just so much. There's so much going on, but we've got these beautiful outer planets in retrograde, which are giving us an opportunity to come back inside, to reflect, to make sure we're making the inner changes so that we can respond in a very external way. And if you have outer planets that are retrograde in your natal chart, then you're actually being thrown a little bit more out into the world to have these discoveries where you're like, yeah, my insides are living their best life. I've done a lot of consideration and a lot of introspection on these things, but now I have to take them out in the world and see if my ideas and my actions and my attitudes fit the world that I'm in. And that's how you know, right? Like, this is how we learn as humans. We get these ideas or these beliefs, and then we have to take them out in the world and see if they stick. See if they actually make it so we're living in alignment with the universe, wearing the world like a loose garment, ease with ourselves and the people around us, regardless of the circumstance that's going on. So I think that there's a lot to consider. I know this was just supposed to be a moon talk, but we sure did throw a lot in here, and I am sweating. So it's probably time for me to stop talking, but I love you guys a whole ton. I look forward to connecting with you guys on more information, more astrology goodies that are coming. I really hope you go get your astrology soulmate mugs and t-shirts, but get your mugs so you can bring it to the eat and greets and we can enjoy this together. And next year we go back to conferencing together. We'll be in person. Bring your mug. I'll bring my mug. We'll toast it up to astrology. I've got some cute little shorts coming as well. I mean, I'm really over here trying to design my whole cookware line. So there's a lot coming from this side. And I hope that any piece of what I am doing, what I am saying, what I am sharing with you is making you think, is making you pray or reflect, and is making some piece of your journey better, easier, clearer, more informed. So I love you guys so much, and I look forward to seeing you next time. The September monthly videos will be up just shortly, but if you haven't caught up on your weeklies and you haven't watched your monthly horoscope yet, definitely get that checked out so that you can see where the energies are happening and playing out for you, okay? All right, my beautiful friends, like this video, comment, share, subscribe. I love you just so much, and I'll see all of you guys next time. Bye, everybody.